Yeah.
And we're going to dive into that today. We've got some fascinating research. A study from JAMA Network Open actually just came out this past June, all about multivitamins and their effect on, well, how long we live.
Yeah, it's interesting. This whole idea of multivitamins, it's really captured the public interest for a long time.
For sure.
And with this new research, I think it's a good time to sort of dive into what we're finding, see if these multivitamins are actually doing what we think they are.
And what makes this deep dive really interesting is the study itself. We're talking massive scale here. We're talking nearly 400,000 people
Wow.
tracked for over 20 years
Yeah.
across 3 major health studies here in the U.S. So this wasn't just a quick little,
Right.
snapshot.
No, this was the long game.
They were in it for the long haul, for sure.
Absolutely. This research, it had a huge scope. They tapped into data from, let's see, there was the NIH AARP Diet and Health Study. They looked at the prostate, lung, colorectal, and ovarian cancer screening trial, and even the agricultural health study.
Wow.
So yeah, they really went broad, which gives their findings, a lot of weight.
With that many people, that much data, you would kind of assume, okay, they're going to find some pretty clear connection between taking your vitamins and, living longer, right?
It seems intuitive, right?
Right.
But and this is where it gets interesting. That's not quite what they found. Yeah. This is where things get a little interesting. The study actually revealed no significant link between taking a daily multivitamin and living a longer life.
Hey, so all those multivitamins, no impact on how long people actually lived.
You got it. And it gets even a little more, I guess, I don't want to say strange, but in some of the analyses, they actually found a slightly higher mortality risk for the daily multivitamin users.
Okay, hold on. Before anyone listening runs to their medicine cabinet and chucks their multivitamins in the trash.
Right.
We've got to unpack that a little bit. So does this mean, are they saying that those vitamins are actually doing more harm than good?
Not necessarily. I think it's really important to keep in mind that this is what we call an observational study. So researchers were basically looking at what people were already doing, taking or not taking multivitamins, and then analyzing those outcomes. They weren't, controlling every single factor in these people's lives.
So it's kind of like, and maybe this is a weird analogy, but if you saw someone wearing a certain brand of running shoes crossing the finish line first in a marathon,
Okay.
doesn't mean those shoes are what made them win, right?
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
It really highlights what we call confounding in research.
Okay.
So think about it. People who are already proactive about their health, right? Eating well, exercising regularly, they're probably the same folks who are more likely to take a daily multivitamin in the first place.
So the multivitamin might not be the magic bullet. It's more about the fact that they're already doing a lot of other things
Exactly.
that contribute to a healthier life.
And the study authors, they even highlighted this. They called it the healthy user effect. It's this crucial factor. Right?
Yeah.
It's hard to completely separate the impact of just the multivitamin itself from all those other healthy habits that tend to go along with it.
And just to be thorough, because I know people are probably thinking this, they didn't just look at overall mortality, right? Like,
Right.
What about specific things like heart disease, cancer, things like that? Did they look into that?
You're right. Those are critical to consider. And they did. They looked into those, also stroke. And the findings were pretty consistent, surprisingly. There was no, magic shield,
Yeah.
against these specific conditions, just because someone was taking a multivitamin.
Okay, so where does that leave us? This is where I think it gets really interesting.
Well, they found some really interesting nuances when they started digging into specific groups within the study.
Okay. Love a good subgroup analysis. What jumped out at you?
One of the most striking things they found was actually related to age.
Okay.
They noticed that among the participants who were younger than 55, those who took a multivitamin every day actually showed a higher risk of dying during the initial phase of the study.
Really?
Compared to their peers who weren't taking multivitamins.
Wow, that's almost the opposite of what you'd expect to hear. So do we have any insight into why that might be?
That's where things get a little bit speculative, because this study can't definitively say this is why this is happening.
Right.
But the researchers, they did offer up some possible explanations.
Okay.
One they brought up is something called the sick user effect.
Okay.
And basically imagine this. Someone starts feeling a little bit unwell, maybe a bit run down, maybe they're just a little concerned about their health. So they decide, you know what? I'm going to start taking a multivitamin.
So it might not be that the multivitamin itself is causing a problem,
Right.
but it's more an indicator that they were already, maybe experiencing some other stuff.
Exactly.
Doesn't
Exactly.
help.
Now, it is important to remember they did exclude anyone from this study who had severe chronic diseases at the start.
Okay.
But, health is a journey, things change, and sometimes what appears as a minor concern at one point can develop into something a little more serious over time, right?
And it's not always cut and dry, right?
Right.
Like something might not even be classified as a major chronic illness initially,
Right.
but could still be, a factor down the line.
Absolutely.
What other subgroups did they look at?
They also observed some interesting connections with smoking status.
Okay.
And the findings weren't straightforward here either. They kind of differed based on whether someone was a current smoker, a former smoker, or had never smoked.
Hmm.
Even BMI seemed to play a role, with some variation depending on, what weight category someone fell into.
So we're really seeing there's a lot of layers to this.
Oh, absolutely.
Like it would have been so easy to just be like multivitamins, no effect on longevity, close the book, end of story.
Right, right.
But this deep dive is really revealing that there's a lot more to the picture.
It really underscores that health is incredibly complex.
Yeah.
And it's rare. It's so rare to find these one-size-fits-all solutions.
Right.
And I think this study really challenges that idea that, a multivitamin alone is the key to a longer life.
It makes you think twice about all those supplement aisle promises,
Mm-hmm.
So where does this leave someone who's listening? Maybe they're like, okay, wait a minute.
Right.
They're rethinking their daily multivitamin routine. Should they be worried? Should they call their doctor? What's the takeaway here?
I think a balanced perspective is key.
Okay.
If you're taking a multivitamin
Mhm.
and you're feeling good about it, great. This study doesn't mean everybody needs to, make a drastic change.
It does highlight how individualized our health decisions should be.
I completely agree. It's a great opportunity to, maybe have a conversation with your doctor, talk about your specific needs,
Yeah.
and see if, a multivitamin truly aligns with your personal health goals.
This is really resonating with me because, instead of searching for that one magic pill, maybe this study is encouraging us to think a little bit bigger picture,
Mm-hmm.
about overall wellness.
That's a really important point. And I think, what's fascinating here is how this research kind of challenges this idea of a one-size-fits-all approach to health,
Right.
right? Even something as seemingly simple as a multivitamin might have different effects depending on a whole range of individual factors.
It's like we've been saying all along, health is complex.
It is.
There's no single solution for everybody.
Exactly. And this study just really, it underscores that importance of a holistic approach, right?
Mhm.
Taking care of your health. It involves so many factors: a balanced diet, regular exercise, how you're managing stress, addressing, individual needs, potential deficiencies you might have.
Right. It's about those informed choices, what's right for you.
Exactly.
So while that daily multivitamin, might not be the fountain of youth,
Right.
it could still have a place, right? In
Absolutely.
a broader approach to well-being.
Absolutely. And remember, research like this, it's always evolving.
Right.
Every study kind of adds another piece to the puzzle, helps us gain a deeper understanding of, all these different factors that contribute to living healthier lives.
That's what we love about these deep dives. There's always something new to learn.
Always, yeah.
So next time you're in the supplement aisle, at the grocery store, wherever you may be, remember this study, It's a good reminder to think critically about some of those health claims and really prioritize that holistic approach to your well-being.
Well said. And, as always, consult with your healthcare provider to make those informed decisions that are tailored to your individual needs.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks for joining us on this dip dive into the world of multivitamins and longevity. Until next time, keep those brains engaged and keep asking questions.
Please subscribe to my channel.